Happy Halloween, everybody, and welcome to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, for tonight's game between the Oklahoma City Renegades and the Chicago Warriors. Tonight, Chicago's throwing it back, wearing their Halloween costume of the Bomb Pops from their old minor league days. For Oklahoma City, they're wearing their completely wrong uniforms because I don't know how to do my job. Stephen Mullinex and Cameron Irvine here in the booth. J.W. Hartshorn and Ellie Diomas on stats. Stephen, give us an extended preview of tonight's matchup.
First of all, boo, right? I'm going to go ahead and start off with that because happy Halloween, everybody. This is, what are you doing? Why aren't you out there collecting candy? Why are you watching this game? Well, probably because you have something invested in it, like Chicago, who comes into this game at 6-5, looking to secure their place in the playoffs with this game, facing a very familiar foe in a team they played just last week in Oklahoma City. Now, speaking about last week's matchup, Cam, back in week 15, absolute smashed by Chicago, 65-14 in Chicago, in the Windy City. But now the tables have turned, and now we are now in Oklahoma City, and these Renegades are looking for a little revenge.
It's got to be the first home and home in SFL history. I don't know that for a fact, but it's a very unusual situation. These two were supposed to meet earlier in the season, and that got moved to this week. And so here we are in a back-to-back situation. For Chicago, Stephen, it's win and in. Now, they don't have to necessarily win to get in. At least we think so. They certainly wouldn't want to be in that situation, though. They just got to take care of business tonight, keep everybody healthy.
Yeah, and all signs point to, they're going to be able to do that based upon what we saw last week. But again, you never know. That's why they play the games. Let's see what happens. I'm sure after that scoreboard from last week, OKC went back in the lab and tried to refigure some things out because they've seen this offense before. And I think number one job for their defense is stop that guy, Type Attack. He's pretty good.
Type Attack has turned himself into an MVP candidate this season. He has been unbelievable. He is going to be very difficult to stop for an Oklahoma City team that is poised for another rebuild this offseason. We have kicked it off, and we are underway from Oklahoma City. Chicago in the white and red tonight. The bright red as Oklahoma City in their white helmets, navy jerseys, and red pants. We get things underway with Chicago getting the football at the 31-yard line. Melodious Manning on the return. Type Attack, he has been brilliant this season for Chicago. He is first in the league in yards, 3,424. First in the league in touchdowns with 26. He also has 580 rushing yards, which is 13th most in the SFL among any rushers.
Yeah, the ultimate dual threat here in the SFL, the most Michael Vick type player that we've ever had.
First down and 10 at the 31-yard line as Chicago goes in motion. Type Attack going to start with a throw. That's no surprise. He's running around looking for someone to throw to and finds an open receiver, the previous man in motion. That's Caleb Giffis for a first down. Chicago up around midfield.
And Cam, you gotta love playing for this team if you're a wide receiver or a tight end. I mean, the amount of targets, there's an ocean of targets that are out there available for you. And on that particular play, Type Attack, we talk about his speed as a rusher, and how many rushing yards that he gets, 3 touchdowns just last week on the ground. But it's that speed that also lets him shift in the pocket.
Attack's pass caught by Paulie Truth, his right-hand man, picking up 7 yards. At the beginning of the season, everyone looked at Paulie Truth's contract and said, that is just absurd. What are they going to do with this guy? They're going to throw to him 25 times. Chicago's done a really nice job of balancing their passing attack this season.
Yeah, but there's definitely number one when it comes to receiver, and that's that Paulie Truth guy. They pay him because he comes and makes big plays.
Oh, but this play is a sack in the backfield. Getting in there is Kilgore, Harrison Kilgore, in the backfield to bring Type Attack down. Don't look now, folks. He has negative rushing yards.
And well, that's not going to stand for sure in this game, but just a good effort there to contain Type Attack. A lot of times that's the best that you can do as an SFL defense. Just try to keep them between those tackles. Don't let them go to the outside and try to contain them.
Attack is off his back foot, and it's knocked away and incomplete. knocking that ball free for Oklahoma City. Well, they showed a different character there, but it's actually Matt Bowen, the free safety. The Renegades have a skeleton crew in their secondary tonight. Sammy Seatbelt, Farrell Raines, Brady Clark have all said peace out, homie, on this season, and Oklahoma City just trying to keep everything together. They do on that opening drive, fourth down.
They did a great job by OKC. I think a great statement opening series for the defense, and especially, as you mentioned, with 60% of their secondary out.
Love the math. That's into the end zone and bouncing on the hat of Oklahoma City's mascot. King Jackson is the quarterback for the Renegades, and I'll give him this. He's thrown more than any other quarterback in the league this season, 443. He's only completing 52% of his passes, though, 24 picks to 12 touchdowns.
Yeah, both of these teams' offenses are very pass-prone. They like to throw the ball, and they like to do it a lot.
Which means it's going to be a short game tonight, right? King Jackson drops to throw. That pass is caught. Christian Bacigalupi with the reception in his 7th SFL season, 6'2", 205, and the Renegades have a first down.
And I like what they're doing right out of the gate, Cam. They're getting their quarterback on the run. They're getting a rollout there so that to give their receivers more time to complete those routes, and then you're not getting as much pressure on the quarterback, so it's giving him time, doing just a nice dual threat of things that can happen on that opening series.
Couple minutes into the ball game, and the handoff up the middle is going to pick up 3. That is Richard Powers on the carry. Powers is joined by Tom Rahman in the backfield. Bacigalupi and Dallas Sanders, the only active receivers on the squad, but their tight ends are some of the best in the league. Jonathan Kilgore, Tiberius Bovine, Stephen McMichaels have all had sensational seasons. In fact, the 3 have combined for 163 receptions this season. 163 of the 230 on this Renegade squad this season. That one, though, is incomplete from King, and it's 3rd down and 7.
Yeah, and just last week, the Oklahoma City tight ends, all 3 of them combined for 23 receptions, 396 yards through the air, and a touchdown. So it's a triple-headed threat over there. They were only able to score 14 points in the ball game, but they surely moved the ball between the 20s very effectively through the air.
At one point, they were tied with Chicago in that game, but things fell apart in the second half. Jackson's pass is eventually intercepted, and this one is going to be brought up to about the OKC 42-yard line. The pass for Chicago picked off by Melodious Manning, who had the opening kick return to get it into a great field position for the Warriors.
Wow, tipped up twice there. Somebody's been playing volleyball here in the offseason because that ball got tipped around like crazy. Finally finds somebody with some steady hands there in Manning to bring that down. And, again, that's the double-edged sword that is the more passing-prone offense. It's these turnovers that can really kill you.
Oklahoma City's thrown more than any team in the league, and Chicago's intercepted more than any team in the league. Where'd the ball go? That pass is incomplete as Ty Patak is decked again. Manning with the 30th interception for Chicago this season.
Well, it wasn't a sack, but it wouldn't be surprised. Don't be surprised we don't see a lot of sacks in this game. These 2 quarterbacks combined, get this, Cam, for nearly 100 sacks this season. They've been sacked 95 times. So this is again, back to that pass-prone offense. They're going to hold the ball a little bit longer than most.
Attack and a feast or famine gets down the field and hits Bobby Tarantino for the first time tonight. First down for the Warriors. Those 30 picks, the most turnovers that Chicago has forced since 33 back in season 20 when they were Seattle.
A nice job there, just very comfortable in the pocket there, Patak, and getting it to Tarantino. Had a big game last week against these same opponents. 10 receptions, 149 yards, and a score. But hey, look, with the numbers both of these quarterbacks are throwing out, everybody's getting catches and more.
In motion is John Fullerton, along with Dean Jackson, who's yet to have a catch so far in this offense. First down and 10 for Patak against a 4-man rush. Again, had to get off his spot, and Paulie Truth will pick up 2 yards on the play. Sabo Kanan with the tackle.
And again, it's just that subtle move in the pocket. Didn't have to do too much. He's got the speed to really make some very minor moves in the pocket, so it doesn't look super uncomfortable. And obviously, when he's uncomfortable, he's looking for his tight end.
Attack deep, drop back, throws a pick in the end zone. That one is hauled in by that free safety. Matt Bowen playing in place of Brady Clark, and a turnover for Chicago on their second drive.
Coaches around the league are clamoring now to sign Bowen as a free agent this offseason. This guy's played absolutely unbelievable. Now, maybe the reason he's been sitting the bench all season is the fact that it looked like he tried to take the ball out and nearly got tackled at the 1 yard line, but they're going to give it to him on the 20 here. So he got tackled, and it saved him maybe from a little bit of an embarrassing moment. But again, the momentum shifting back home. This is a different game than last week, clearly.
I think, Steven, you're trying to lower his stock intentionally so that people will get off of him. That's a pickup of just one for Rahman. I see what you were doing there. Yeah, great play, but he tried to take it out of the end zone. That's a no-no. See, give the guy some credit.
What am I, Eddie Gates? No, I'm not doing that.
Second down and 9. 4 minutes to go in the first. Say his name 2 more times, he will appear. Happy Halloween. King Jackson's pass is incomplete. 3rd and 9, just out ahead of Bachagalupi.
Want that guy running around here? Yeah. Again, I think these defenses have really shown out early, and a credit to the coaches and the defensive coordinators, especially on the Oklahoma City side of things. I mean, they are playing, against a stacked deck, and they don't have any aces in the hole, and they've come out and done a really good job early.
Empty on a 3rd down and 9. Jackson will fire. That is caught. Bachagalupi to the 35-yard line. Jackson on the money, converting the first down as Oklahoma City's drive stays alive.
Yeah, you talk about a dot. That was an absolute heater coming from the quarterback, and unafraid to throw it despite 3 men in coverage. One just sitting back in the zone, probably in perfect position for that interception. The ball, I think, was just thrown too quickly and too accurately. And as we know, Cam, there is no defense for the perfect pass.
Jackson's up to 2 for 5 for 30 yards. Both catches from Christian as big number 88 Dallas Sanders goes in motion. Halfway through the first quarter, a surprisingly scoreless and defensive first quarter as Jackson rolls out and will fire to a wide open big number 84. And we got to go down our roster sheet again here tonight because that is Justin Skaggs with the catch.
Well, and this might be known, as the role player game. These role players coming off the bench that we've rarely heard of this season are coming and making big plays. But I think the more important part of that play is the fact it was a rollout again, Cam, and they may have found something, maybe found a weakness in the Chicago defense that they can take advantage of.
That's my fault. I said it earlier. Rahman with the 1-yard pickup. I'm surprised you didn't say Skaggs kind of stumbled out of his route and stumbled out of his break there, so you could devalue his efforts and free agency this season.
I wanted to say something about Scabs from back in like 83, 84 NFL days, but I didn't know how to connect it.
Second down and 9, 4:25 to go in the first quarter. Oklahoma City at the 50 with 7 in the box for the Warriors. The toss goes out to Rahman, and he won't be able to scoop up anything. Another 3rd down and long coming up, hit or miss so far for the Renegades on 3rd and long.
Yeah, and they're just trying to get that running game established. I mean, look, Rahman only got 5 carries last game, 18 yards, but he did score a touchdown. So they're running to commit to the run, just not in these situations.
Jackson's pass is knocked away, and that is Derek Majors with the pass deflection. This Chicago defense, the offense gets a lot of glory, but they have a projected 5 different defenders slated for the All-Star team. Chad McPherson, Havo Ramsey, Derek Majors, Melodious Manning, and Kronk Worthy.
Yeah, and I think the defensive ranking has something to do with that. 22nd in defensive allowed total yards, 22nd in pass defense, 21st in run defense. I think they're really skewed simply because they don't have a really established running game here in Chicago. They've opted as a choice, as a franchise, to really throw the ball, and that can put your defense on the field a lot. I think that's where we're seeing those rankings being so that. That's why we're not talking about them. But as you mentioned, they're getting the love when it comes to potential, Pro Bowl voting or those All-Star voting, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. As Type Attack drops to throw, that pass is caught by Polly Truth down to the 40-yard line. When you consider that Chicago has only had exactly 500 offensive plays this season, that's compared to Oklahoma City's 610. That's a wide discrepancy of your offense not being on the field too much.
That's right, and look, they're not trying to play necessarily the time of possession game. They're trying to play the opportunistic game, where they can just try to get as many offensive opportunities as possible.
Attack dropping a throw, looking for Polly Truth, and don't look now, Mullinex. But that is number 41, the sensation, Matt Bowen, with the deflection.
Arizona is already on the phone with his representation. I didn't say his name.
That's good. We're all thankful. Second down and 10. Attack dropping a throw. It's caught. That is Caleb Giffis coming down with his second grab of the evening, moving the chains for the Warriors.
And all these receivers are getting to eat here in Seattle, and that'll be Giffis' 46th reception on the season. Has 677 yards, 6 touchdowns. Every one of these receivers, has got to just be giddy about this offense this season. I know they would all probably give that up to ensure themselves a place in the playoff, which they haven't made yet.
Chicago with the first down. I have ruined your life, It's Patak back to pass. That is incomplete. Second down and 10 off the quick throw, looking for Tarantino. But you are right. They, considering that we're almost to the end of the first quarter, it's worth noting that Chicago has not clinched the playoffs yet. They need a win tonight to at least clinch and not have to worry about anything. If they were to lose to Oklahoma City tonight in a massive upset, I think some might question on the scenario show whether they should have any path to making the postseason, especially since they beat them by 51 last week. Patak dropping a throw, fires, that is caught, and that is Tarantino's second grab for a first down. Tarantino with 2, Giffis with 2, and Truth with 3 in the opening quarter.
Back to your point, Cam, I think the fear that I would have as a coach maybe is that do you rest on your laurels a bit because your game plan worked so well last week? How much is scenery change and how much giving another week to Oklahoma City to rework their books, how much can they affect what you did last week? And that would be my biggest worry.
Attack again overthrows what seemingly looked like a wide open Bobby Tarantino on a go route. Ty pressing just a bit, 7 of 13 for 112 yards in the quarter.
I think it's Bowen Island over there. I think there's some things happening over there on that side of the field. Bowen's maybe shut that down.
That's a fair point. I think Type Attack's trying to figure out who the heck is this guy, just like we all are here tonight. Second down and 10 at the OKC 25-yard line. Patak gonna have to scramble. Goes right, avoids a sack, fires into the end zone, and out of the back of the end zone as Tarantino almost ran into our cameras in the back there. Third down and 10.
Yeah, great job by Patak getting out of that potential sack, and getting out of that, giving his receivers more time, and then I really think he just threw it away out of the back in the end zone, and then maybe Tarantino makes a miraculous catch. If not, it's not going to anyone else.
Third and long for Chicago. It'll be a 42-yard field goal from here. 4-man rush, Type Attacks pass, caught by Polly Truth in double coverage. First and goal down to the 3-yard line. That's what makes Chicago ever so dangerous. They have 3 chances to get 10 yards, and I know that sounds ridiculous, Stephen, but for a team like Chicago, that seems an impossible task to stop.
Well, that's why you give that man his money, right? That's why you pay that guy as much as you paid him. You ignore all the criticism, but, despite what his price tag might be, when you need a clutch third down, and this could go all the way in the playoffs too, you're looking for him, Polly Truth, to get you that big catch.
First and goal at the 1. Type Attack with 9 rushing touchdowns this season. That's 5th most in the SFL. Could he get his 10th here? Empty look. Patak going to look to throw. That pass is caught. Touchdown. And it's Polly Truth for the 5th time in the first quarter. He's on pace for 20 tonight. And the Warriors get on the board first.
Gotta love the accuracy by Patak there. And look, that's a one-handed catch by Polly Truth. There's no doubt. There was a receiver further in the back of the end zone, more open, But to Patak and Truth have such a connection that he's just trust him more to bring that down. And when he got a big paw, as big as the football it looked like out there, bringing it in, is it any wonder that he would trust him to get that first score?
Extra point is good, and Chicago in a 9-play, 85-yard, 2-minute and 14-second drive has started what they hope to be an onslaught and a rush to the postseason to get to 7-5 and really get themselves squarely in the mix of a championship. Mullinex as a coach, I'm sure that playing a team like Chicago could give you quite the headache. You guys, had an opportunity to play Chicago earlier this season, and it was really quite the bonkers game.
Yeah, it was 9-3. I mean, it was just purely field goals. It is not what you would expect. It's honestly something you may expect from our kind of football, which is kind of more smash mouth football. We really like to run the ball. But for them, I think, and all credit goes to our defensive coordinator, Jace Walters, was able to really shut down what they did earlier in the season. I think Chicago's just gotten better and better. So I don't think anybody's looking forward to facing Chicago in the playoffs.
Brown McCary picks up one. Speaking of field goals, Minnesota in the earlier block, they kicked 4 field goals on 6 red zone trips and fell to Fort Worth 23-18. It'll be the first time in Minnesota's tenure as an SFL franchise that they will not make the playoffs, as Rahman will pick up 6 to set up a 3rd down and 3. But Fort Worth, winners of 2 in a row to end the season, they are threatening now. It's 6-6 in the mess at the bottom of the wild card picture.
Good for Fort Worth. I mean, they were struggling at the beginning of the season and didn't quite look. They looked a bit of a shell of their past selves, but good to see them bounce back and get a quality win against a quality team like Minnesota.
3rd and 3 straight runs, and Richard Powers goes backwards, and Chicago will get the stop. A $7.85 super chat from Paulie Truth, 1-800-TRUTH touchdown. Someone tell me what that exact phone number comes out to, and maybe we'll give it a ring in the second half, see what we can get.
That's dangerous. That's a dangerous game you're playing, buddy.
I'm a dangerous guy.
What if it goes to our stat truck? If it goes to, if it just rings our stat truck, what does that mean for us?
I don't know. I think that means that we own too many phone numbers in the world. I think that's
okay.
Gotta cut down on that. 6 seconds left in the first quarter. There's nothing more to say on that. It's just
no. The more we say, the more we get in trouble. So.
Sure. Chicago 7, Oklahoma City nothing. Final play of the first quarter. Patak's pass is incomplete, just to make me look foolish. 3 seconds left.
Yeah, not a great response by Oklahoma City there in their offense, going 3 straight runs. I get why you're trying to flip the script on what the narrative has been of your season, that you are a heavy passing team. So you want to try to establish the run. But, man, the ways that they've done it, it just hasn't worked as of yet.
This is Paulie Truth, who's going to come down with his 6th reception in 1 quarter as Chicago moves the ball up across midfield once again.
Yeah, and have you noticed it's more like middle of the field, right-hand side of the field seems to where they have their most success. And I don't want to say Bowen again, but Bowen with the tackle there. But anytime they try to go to the left, it doesn't work out as well.
End of the first quarter, Chicago 7, Oklahoma City nothing in the final week of season 25. That 1-800 number that Paulie Truth put in there, new health insurance marketplace for Texans. So,
oh,
who knew?
I had to give that a call myself.
Who knew?
There we go.
Start of the second quarter. Stephen Mullinex and Cameron Irvine with you. J.W. Hartshorn and Ellie Dioma is in the stats truck. As Ty Patak drops the throw, that pass is caught at the 24-yard line. I'm wondering what our stat truck's costumes are tonight. I wonder, did they come dressed for the occasion tonight?
I thought I saw one of them in a Eddie Gage costume.
No, Mullinex. That's not a. Nope.
Oh, yeah. No. That's not.
We definitely don't want any pictures of that costume.
I wanted to say the
You're
name.
getting a lot of people in trouble now.
Sorry.
The more we talk.
They were dressed up as a scorpion. That's what I meant.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that's good. First down for Bobby Tarantino. Moves the sticks.
Let's get out of that. Let's get out of this conversation. Nice first down there. Look, again, it's delivering darts, throwing it all over the field for as good a job as OKC did in that first quarter. In this second quarter now, you're starting to feel things loosen up here in this defense. And now we're starting to see Chicago having a bit more success through the air.
This is Patak dropping a throw into the end zone. That pass is caught. That's Caleb Giffis, and that's the second touchdown pass for Ty Patak today, adding to his league leading total of 28.
They make it look so easy. It's not necessarily effortless, but it's just the defender's there, the defense is there, but the passes are just so crisp and so accurate that there's just little that they can do, and that's been a narrative that has been growing here. It's just these passes, they've made Patak uncomfortable in the pocket at times, and that has worked in their favor. But man, when you give him time with the talented receivers and tight end that he has, it gets up on you quick. Now 14-0.
Start of the second half in Los Angeles. It's Lexington and LA tied at 10. Ramos Lynn and Anthony Ellison on the call of that game. I'm not saying it's a more competitive game than the one we have right now, but the scoreboard is, as Oklahoma City returns that one up to the 22-yard line. Chicago has racked up 192 yards of offense here in the first half, and they've done that with not necessarily a ton of plays. 8.3 yards per play so far.
Whew, yeah, and again, I don't think that's unexpected. They love to throw the ball, really, and the only time that they really commit to the running game, it's really more of a scramble by the quarterback when they do run the ball, and they do it successfully as well.
That's a loss of 3 to start, and really Oklahoma City has tried to get that run game going, to try to slow down Chicago, to try to shorten up this game, and they just have not been able to find it.
Yeah, and it's been plaguing them all season. I've done other games for them, and they've tried to do the same thing, and they just can't seem to find the right combination. New rollout here.
But it's knocked away, and that one is deflected by Dylan Bamsler, who already has a tackle from earlier tonight. So another third down and long coming up.
Well, the one guy that I really want to see get more involved in this game on Oklahoma City's side is that tight end Kilgore. 8 receptions, 196 yards, and a touchdown, including a 70-yard reception. We haven't called his name yet, and he was a big part of the game plan last week.
Third down and long. King Jackson got to get rid of it and never did. And there's an injured player on the field for Chicago. That's Peter Merck, who wants to rest up for the playoffs a little early. Not sure that's a real injury down there. Not to speculate. But.
Well, I think the fact that I don't know. I think he'd actually want to be out there more. How easy that looked. It's almost as if the tackles on the outside weren't ready for the snap. That's how easy it was. It looked like they just ran by both outside tackles and went unimpeded right to the quarterback.
I'm getting a look into the stat truck now. Ellie came dressed tonight as Phyllis Diller. The wig is impressive. You don't know who Phyllis Diller is, you got to look her up. It's a very, very excellent costume.
Old school.
Yeah,
old school. Like, yeah, that's an old school comedian. Man, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't reference anything that she's done or said, but I think she was on Johnny Carson a lot back in the day.
Well, she died in 2012, just like our hopes and dreams. First down at the
just
Oklahoma
this
City
commentary.
Chicago with excellent field position here off the punt. Ty Patak will hand the ball off.
What?
Picking up 4 yards. That's got to be a mistake.
Yeah.
Let's see. That is Tyrone Wheatley playing a prank on us and picking up 4 yards.
Yeah, I think Patek might have just tripped. He meant to fake that to the running back, but actually ended up handing it off. And still a better run than I've seen from Oklahoma City so far.
Ty Patak is dropped in the backfield. Still negative yardage for the bum. That is Frank Doom with the takedown.
And that'll be 52 times Patak has been sacked this season. And look, we talked about it coming into this game, 95 combined for both of them. And look, I mean, and it's not even close. There's nobody within 20 sacks of these two guys, so they get dropped a lot.
3rd and 9. Can Oklahoma City get off the field? Patak's pass is caught. That's a beautiful ball to John Fullerton, his first catch, and that'll keep the drive alive for Chicago.
Yeah, and Fullerton there falling back and catching the ball there on a nice corner route, just shielding the defender off, giving his quarterback the front of his jersey, and you can see both numbers. That's usually a good sign that the window is large and that the Patak is going to have an easy target there on that corner route. I don't know what I'm saying.
6:55. Yes, you do. Don't do that to yourself. Boost yourself up. 6:55 to go in the first half. Patak hit as he threw, and it actually almost fell into the arms of maybe an offensive lineman, perhaps, but it's 2nd down and 10 off the incompletion. That's the 8th one of the night for Patak.
So the good thing here for Oklahoma City, the pressure is getting them. They are getting pressure on the quarterback. They are getting quarterback hits out there. It's just the coverage hasn't been as good as we saw in that first quarter.
Ty Patak's pass caught by Pauly Truth. Touchdown Chicago, 20-0.
And again, they make it look so easy, and Pauly Truth not just placing the traditional tight end, on the line type position, but also on the outside as a receiver, just as effective. That is what makes him a unicorn. That's what makes him special, and I guess that's what makes him a representative for some kind of healthcare thing in Texas.
Oh, 6:44 to go in the first half, and Chicago's really starting to pour it on. I'm also getting another look in our stats truck tonight. J.W. Hartshorn came dressed as, looks like Brad Paisley, in the hopes that this game goes 18 innings.
Brad Paisley. We talking about the country music star?
Yeah, did you see he's sung the national anthem for the World Series 4 different times, and all of them have gone to extra innings.
Oh, okay. Well, let's not hope for that in this one.
On the return to the 25-yard line. The Renegades will take over. Right now it's a race for Oklahoma City's yards and Chicago's points.
And yes, Skippy, I did call him a unicorn. I mean, that tight end is
I thought you
amazing.
meant me. I was going to say, I was not listening. I did not hear that.
Ooh, there's a joke, but I just can't say it on air.
King Jackson dropping a throw. That pass is caught. It's worked most of the night. Bachgalupi with his 3rd catch picks up a first down for the Renegades.
And Bachgalupi, we talked about how impactful the tight ends were in the last game. He has been the primary target in this game, and that's an unconventional route there. The nice job, first of all, just having the timing to run that kind of a route, the inside, the outside, be able to deke the defender out. And again, as you mentioned, the rollout, it seems to really be very successful in what they're doing.
King Jackson just gets rid of it, and that pass is hauled in for a first down. That's Skaggs picking up his 2nd catch tonight.
Yeah, and that one there just really a route where he just kind of turns around there, and a nice little curl route, gets past the defender, but he needed a little extra time to do it. And boy, Jackson waited to the last fraction of a second to get rid of it before he got absolutely destroyed back there.
1st and 10 coming up for Oklahoma City around midfield as the Renegades try to put something together here. 5:40 to go in the first half. That's Bachgalupi in motion already at 44 yards. Jackson in a roll on his weak side, and then tried to fire to Bachgalupi. He was actually open, and King just could not connect with him. Second down.
Yeah, feeling, I think, a little bit of pressure there to get the ball out a little too quickly, but if he had just waited just maybe a second more. That might have went for a lot of yards right there.
Jackson will drop the throw on second down and fire at a receiver, but it is jarred loose. That was Botchgalupi again, who was the intended target. Ricky Robinson with the pass deflection, his first of the night.
Looked like they were trying to run a rub route concept out there, Cam, and it just didn't have quite the time to develop because Jackson had to get rid of it so quickly.
Empty Jackson rollout, 3rd and long. King into traffic, and Botchgalupi able to haul it in. That was a dangerous ball, but Christian's having himself a night.
Yeah, he absolutely is, and obviously they really wanted to target him, in this particular game plan. The ball thrown a little bit behind him. Nice job by the receiver to adjust to that. But yeah, in a swarm of defenders, they're able to find him. And again, on that rollout, I wouldn't mind seeing rollouts the rest of this game.
First down. Botchgalupi, this season's high is 85 receiving yards. That pass is intercepted. Check that, 142 for Christian is his season high, but that is being brought back all the way from Derek Majors. Touchdown, Chicago.
Yeah, and for Majors, that's going to be his 8th interception on the season, and that is a beauty of an interception. The nice left hand, one-handed, pick it out of the air. Ooh. It's amazing. It just looks so beautiful. So it'll be masked because of the score that's probably going to end this game, and people are going to forget that. But that is an amazing athletic play by your corner, who is nearing double digits interceptions. If he keeps on this pace, he might have them tonight.
And for Majors, he's top 25 all time in the SFL in interception returns for touchdowns. That's his 6th. That ties Fort Worth's Delaney Nash. And for SFL historians that may not remember, Derek Majors actually was a quarterback in the minor league. He ended up getting drafted as a corner by the Portland Fleet late, and he's been a defensive back ever since. And he's built himself and continues to build himself a potential Hall of Fame career. 617 tackles, 45 interceptions, 6 brought back for touchdowns. Good for Derek Majors.
Oh, look, if you got a former quarterback making those kind of athletic plays, what are the chances maybe we see him under center for something very special at some point? You know what I mean? That'd be kind of cool to see Majors back under center again, maybe deliver a pass or two. That'd be a nice little wrinkle. At least you have that option with a guy that's played quarterback before.
And we know that Oklahoma City's night is not going well, and we didn't expect it to with their inactives. And Stephen, it's tough when you're trying to build a team and build an organization, and you just can't seem to get the buy-in all season long. It's tough, man. The losses stack up, and people get discouraged, and it's tough to keep their head up. They just they need to build around this base, but there's plenty of guys on this team that still believe and are still here and still fighting hard out there.
And that's who you build it around, and that's why, in part, you build it for. The ones that are sticking around, men and women who have been there from the very beginning. Look, I know this. I have personal history with this type of thing. When the DC Dragons came back in season 16 and season 17, we went 3-9 both of those seasons. But we were able to retain some of the guys that we drafted back in season 16. In fact, our running back Kevin Stay is still with us. A defensive end that we had back then is John Gary is still with us. Like that's a lot of loyalty, and when you're in the doghouse that you kind of feel like you are at the beginning of the franchise, like we are here, of their comeback. Yeah, it's gonna be tough, and there's gonna be some struggles, but you build the team for those people that stick around and are loyal. It makes you want to even do even more for them. So I think it could be an awesome motivator if you allow it to be.
Chris Lee for Los Angeles just made an impressive catch for a touchdown. LA takes a 23-10 lead over Lexington. The Lycans are trying to get their 3rd win of the season tonight. That was an absolute bomb, and the Lycans increase their lead to 13-14 with an extra point pending. The handoff is going to go to Sanders, and will pick up a couple to bring up a second down and 8. Richard Powers check back.
And you talked about the Lycans, and we played them last week, and boy, it was a tough battle. So that Lycans team, a lot better than their record, and man, they took us to the wire last week.
King Jackson will hit for the first time tonight Stephen McMichaels, who at points this season has been an unbelievable weapon for this Renegades team. That'll set up a 3rd down and 1.
Yeah, their top receiver, McMichaels, 77 receptions, 823 yards, and 3 touchdowns coming into this game. And again, part of that 3 tight end trifecta, a 3-headed monster that they have that we haven't seen a lot of tonight.
Handoff on a little counter there. Nicely done for Tom Rahman as the lanes open up. And Oklahoma City picks up a 1st down. I want to go back to what you were saying about Kevin Say. We got to meet him for the first time in Baltimore and met his lovely wife too. And I don't know if you've heard the story about the $45 flag, Mullinex. Have you heard that one yet?
I don't think I have.
Okay. Maybe we'll get into that in the second half, or maybe even in the first half here. 2:35 to go. Let's see what Oklahoma City can do on this drive. 1st down, they'll hand it off to Powers. His 4th carry, he'll pick up a couple.
Let me tell you what's so frustrating if you're the Oklahoma City offensive coordinator is that you just had a great 3rd down conversion on 3rd and 1 through your running game. And it makes you so confused as to why that's not happening more consistently for you. Even on 1st and 10, why aren't we running the ball the same way?
Pass to King Jackson. That's going to be frustrating for King. He dropped that right in the bucket for Botchgalupi, but he's unable to hang on. 3rd down and 8.
And this is where they've been, I think, I don't have the exact, I'd say, a 50-50 here on 3rd down for them. That kind of has been all night, especially when you see the rollout come out. They've had success with that. He's also been picked the last time he did it.
On the roll, Jackson fires, and off the hands of Botchgalupi again. Now just 4 catches on 11 targets, and the drive will stall before the 2-minute warning. Dangerous territory as Chicago's offense will get another opportunity.
Great job by the veteran safety, Alex Bond, out there to knock the ball away. That was a catchable ball. It hit the receiver in the hands, but the impact, the bang play of it all there for Bond, able to knock it away.
After Chris Lee went for 70 yards for Los Angeles, that was nearly a fumble. Chris Arthur goes 62 yards for Lexington, and that game is now 24-17 with 2:07 to go in the 3rd. 2-minute warning here in the first half. It's all Chicago, 28-0. Stephen Mullinex and Cameron Irvine with you. Brad Paisley and Phyllis Diller in our stats truck. Holding it down for us and doing a great job tonight. Ty Patak over 100 rushing yards in his last game against Oklahoma City. -5 tonight on 2 carries. 4 receivers, 3 to the short side left, and the handoff goes for 3 yards to set up a 2nd down and 7. Chicago slow playing it here at the end of the half.
And frankly, my dear, Patak hasn't needed to run the ball. I mean, there's an opportunity maybe there near the goal line where he had an opportunity to do so, just threw the ball and completed it. So just hasn't really had to, but also they've done a good job here, OKC's defense, of containing.
And off again. That's a 1st down and more, and a broken tackle. Oh my goodness, that's the backup to the nobody. James Stewart with the carry in the 1st down.
I mean, that's the best run that we've seen all night from either team. And again, that's a Boeing-like performance on the other side that's happening here. So some names that we don't normally call here in the SFL are getting a little shine tonight.
Tackle made by Trotter, and if this drive ends up resulting in points for Chicago, we're going to look back at that run, and Oklahoma City's going to be kicking themselves. Will Chicago call a timeout? They won't. 2nd and 7.
I don't think they feel the urgency to try and maybe if they feel like they push a little bit and Oklahoma City's able to get an interception, then that gives them momentum going into halftime. They don't want to do that.
Strong safety James Boyd is in the backfield for Chicago, and that pass is incomplete to set up a 3rd down and 7. They were looking for check that. I'm sorry. I was forgive me. That was intended for John Fullerton. I don't know who that is. Dean Jackson in the backfield. 3rd and 7. The wig is distracting from Ellie. It's killing me. Pauly Truth, first down with about 30 seconds left, and hey, Chicago's going to call timeout because they're almost in scoring position. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and again, a critical 3rd down. This time, Pauly Truth lining up on the far outside, and the idea of a tight end, again, the unicorn reference, tight end can line up against a top cornerback in this league and find a way to get free is mind-boggling.
Attack quickly, and it's caught by Fullerton. They still have another timeout left, and they're actually getting into field goal range for Christian Ronald Suey, who this season, 75 of 83 all time, but this season has been great. 20 out of 23 with a long of 49.
Yeah, and I wonder, with this offense and how dynamic it is, how much he's actually been used. Because he might get a lot of rest the way they're scoring touchdowns in this game.
Attacks, pass, caught. They're definitely in field goal range now. But the problem for Chicago is that they burn their final timeout. Under 15 seconds to go is going to be a problem for the Warriors. They got to be careful here with what they do on this next play. It'd be a 42-yard field goal from here.
Yeah, and if they do complete the pass, you want it to be to the outside, get out of bounds. If you throw anything in the middle, they've got to run up really quick and try to spike that ball.
Can't take a sack. Giffords goes in motion. Giffords had a catch the last time they put him in motion. Attack against a 4-man rush again. They throw the out route. They were looking for that. Now 18 seconds. It's even more dangerous for the Warriors. Bobby Tarantino was the intended target.
Yeah, and then it was just a nice little out route to allow him, if he did catch it, to run out of bounds if needed. They're thinking the exact same thing we are.
Now Truth in motion. In the first quarter, he had 6 catches, just 2 in the second quarter, but still over 100 yards tonight. This is Patak firing. Pass is caught with 14 seconds to go, and they may run out of time here, Stephen.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to get the kicking unit out here, and I'd like to see a little bit more urgency for them to go spike the ball. They're not going to do it. I don't think they're going to get it out here in time.
It'll be a 30-yard field goal for Chicago. Down to 5, down to 4, down to 3, 2, 1, and they won't get it off. Devastation for Chicago at the end of the first half as they try to clinch a playoff spot. They're up 28-0 over Oklahoma City. Your thoughts on the first half, Lawrence?
Yeah, I thought OKC did an admirable job in the first quarter. It really felt like it was going to be a different narrative than what we saw in their previous matchup, which was just last week. But the second quarter proved to be really deadly for Chicago as they really were able to put everything together that they might have minorly misfired on through most of that first quarter. And they were just able to do anything and everything they wanted to do. As far as the Renegades, they haven't really been able to establish the run as much as they would clearly like to. And although they found some success in the passing game, it just hasn't been enough and hasn't translated into scores. And there, Pauly Truth showing you why he's the unicorn. 8 receptions already in this game, 2 touchdowns, and he has absolutely been the truth there. 1-800-TRUTH-TD for sure.
Start of the second half here in Oklahoma City, 28-0 Chicago. They are 1 half away from officially clinching a playoff spot, and for the Warriors, it would be their first trip back to the playoffs since they became the Chicago Warriors. This franchise in 6 seasons has never won a playoff game, and this certainly is a very talented team with an opportunity to do that this season, even though the competition is as stiff as ever.
Yeah, and one of the things that they're going to be tested on early, again, if they make the playoffs tonight or as the weekend continues, they've got to be more consistent on the road. And obviously here we're seeing a blowout type situation happening in Oklahoma City. Let's take the Renegades out of that conversation. Their last 5 games on the road, they're only 1-4. So that is their biggest obstacle going potentially into the playoffs. Is they're likely going to play an away game in the playoffs in the wild card round if they make it in. and they've got to prove themselves right away that they are different from that record.
Jackson's pass is caught by McMichaels. Chicago was 2-4 on the road last season. They won both of their games by the exact same score, 41-14, including a win here in Oklahoma.
One of the things I think that gives them an advantage is that they are so unconventional on offense. I'm not sure there are a lot of defensive coordinators who know exactly how to defend against that. Similar to what we're seeing with Baltimore. Like they are a prior, you know, their offense is very particular, and you kind of know exactly what they want to do. But it's one thing to know what they want to do, and another thing to stop it.
King Jackson again with the rollout, firing down the field. That is complete, and we've seen a little bit of a different method of operation in the second half for Oklahoma City. Dallas Sanders with his first catch.
Yeah, and you know, starting to see a little bit more of that spark that we saw, not enough of, but some of there in the first half, and it's continuing here. But you know, all of this between the 20s, it hasn't mattered to anything on the scoreboard, but they need to put up some points here.
Renegades trying to reverse their fortunes as Rahman takes the carry. Last week, in the first meeting between these two teams, it was a close first half, a rough second half. This week, Chicago dominated the first half, but Renegades are off to a hot start in the third.
Well, as you said, at one point they were tied 14-all, and by halftime, Chicago had gone up 27-14. And then Chicago in the second half scored 38 unanswered. So it was just an avalanche there of a game, and it's kind of started that way. And Oklahoma City, and they haven't been able to put up any points early. So it feels like Chicago's defense figured out some things based on last game and really tightened the screws on that side of the ball and have been able to keep them out of even field goal range, although they're right on the cusp of it right now.
Powers with that great run on that last play makes it 3rd down and 1, and Rahman picks up the first down. So Oklahoma City creeping up on 50 rushing yards here in the first half. J.J. Bailey, worth noting, leads Chicago in tackles with 8. 4 different players have a TFL, 3 different have a pass deflection, 2 different have a pick. No sacks for Chicago tonight, and that goes back to that rollout. I'm sure Oklahoma City saw that scouting report on Chicago and their ability to get to the quarterback and said, we're not going to let that happen tonight.
Yeah, and another surprising thing, I guess the adjustments that they made based on what they saw last week, one of the things that kind of took out was we haven't seen Bovine at all in tonight's game. They kind of removed him from the game plan a bit.
Jackson again fires that, and that's incomplete. Looking for Bovine now. No catches on 3 targets. Chicago #1 in the league in sacks with 49, and still a goose egg on the board, but it's 3rd down, OKC.
And Oklahoma City has been more committed, obviously, to running the ball as well. That's kind of helped, and those rollouts absolutely help eliminate some of that pressure.
Jackson, 3rd down, incomplete, and Oklahoma City will at least get an opportunity to get some points on the board here on a 4th and 6.
And I think with that rollout play, Jackson, it's just utterly focused on Bachakalupi. Like he's just, no matter what the coverage is, no matter what defender might be in front of him, he is dedicated to throwing the ball to 85.
Field goal right down the middle. Oklahoma City gets some points on the board to start the 9-play, 43-yard drive. Brings in field goal and some positive momentum there for them.
Right, you would love to see them come out and score a touchdown to really get themselves back into this game immediately. But I mean, you've gotta like the fact they came out after halftime in their own house with their own crowd and put points up on the board to gain some momentum.
Lexington's Ian Francis gets his 2nd touchdown of the night, and the Miners, who were down 24-10, have now made it 24-24 with 4:55 to go in the 4th quarter. Those two teams both want to win to close out the season, and it has been a great one over there in Los Angeles. 399 to 363 in total yards There's still plenty of time to go in that one. Type attacks pass is knocked down. Harrison Kilgore's having a great game for Oklahoma City, second down.
Yeah, just a good job of putting pressure pretty much all night. He's been able to get pressure there, recognizing the fact that he's not going to get to Patak, able to put that big paw up and knock the ball down, and just doing an excellent job, a bright spot here on this defense.
Patak dropping a throw, has to get rid of it, but the pass is caught. That is hauled in by Bobby Tarantino, his fifth grab. Tarantino, Giffis, and Truth all over 60 yards.
Well, that's the quarterback making the difference. He's got pressure right in his face. Still delivers an accurate ball, as you mentioned, with 4 defenders around him. That's been the difference in this ball game. Yes, OKC has got the pressure they wanted, but Patak has just been able to play beyond that pressure and been very accurate.
First down, Oklahoma City showed a blitz, brought just 4. Ty Patak gets rid of 1 and throws to John Fullerton, who will walk it into the end zone. Touchdown, Chicago. The magician returns.
Yeah, and again, we talk so much about him. I don't want to say the quarterback's name. I've said Patak so much in this game already, but that's just an unbelievable play. Misplayed by our guy Bowen. He misplays that ball, but the fact the quarterback was able to get out of the clutches, again, of a defense that's putting consistent pressure on him, exactly what you want, but the quarterback able to break that tackle and deliver an accurate ball. The defender, a little bit inexperienced, plays the ball just a wrong angle there and leaves the receiver wide open for a monster score.
359 passing yards for Ty Patak already in this ball game, and the magician says, watch your hopes and dreams of a competitive second half disappear before your very eyes.
Yeah, I mean, look, any momentum that Oklahoma City had coming out of halftime and putting their first points on the board, that completely is lost. And I would expect people to start, heading home here in the stadium at some point, because it is just every punch that Oklahoma City could possibly have, anything they've done positive on the field, it's been a counter punch and a knockout almost like every time.
Disappointment for Oklahoma City as they try to figure out how to get some positives out of this in the second half. They had plenty of moments early on in the season, but things have unraveled on the Renegades as that run does pick up 8 from Rum.
Look, we're talking a lot of negative things about OKC in this game just because of the nature of how this game is unfolding. But there are plenty of positives we can take away from this season, and they can absolutely build upon. I think, Cam, they have maybe the best duo of linebackers in the SFL. I love the combo of Kanan and Gooden. I think they are spectacular. We haven't called their name a lot in this particular game. I think they are 2 of the best. And, if these guys were on other teams, maybe they would get a lot more shine, but they make up such a great combo. If they had just a little bit more support, maybe an inside linebacker to pair them with, they might be talked about as the best linebacker core in the league.
Nobody in this era has ever had more than 24 touchdown passes in a season. And this season, Christian Brown has 19, but Ty Patak now has 30. He has crushed the old 4K23 record, and that is a catch and fumble from Skaggs and a recovery from Alex Bond. First down, Chicago.
Yeah, Skaggs is playing a really good game out here and able to knock that ball away. Wow, and look, it was just a shot. I think a shot. Right, looked like to me almost to the face mask to knock that ball out.
A disappointing result for Oklahoma City. Chicago's already good enough. You're already depleted enough as an organization. The last thing you want is a turnover that's going to give Chicago the football in Oklahoma City territory. Ty, a deep drop back, firing down the field. That is caught by Dean Jackson, his first catch of the night. First down, Chicago.
Yeah, that wasn't a drop back. That was like a move to another state. That was so far back, and he makes it impossible because of how quick he is. But yeah, he got so far back there, he had no pressure.
Well, I think that's the first time this season I've seen each area of the field have over 100 yards passing by a quarterback, as Patak will, from a clean pocket, fire that complete to Tarantino down to the 7-yard line. Look, this isn't just a, target the same dude 25 times type of a team. This is a confusing team to get after, as Tarantino up to 11 targets on 7 grabs.
And I think every defensive coordinator in the league knows exactly the one person that they need to attack in order to try to hurt this offense, and that's Patak. And so far tonight, despite the constant pressure, he's been able to deliver every time.
Touchdown, Caleb Giffis, 41-3. That is touchdown number 5 for Ty Patak tonight, and he now has a 4K23 record, 31.
And look, even though the coverage is right there, I mean, that's sticky coverage. I mean, that's a lot of contact as well to fight through. And the cornerback's right there, but the ball is perfectly placed, not in a traditional sense, right on the hip of the receiver. He's just throwing so accurately, he can pinpoint parts of the body that are open.
Extra point is good for Chicago. 3-play, 46-yard drive, 42-3. The Warriors have the lead. Chicago's franchise record for points in a contest is 65. They did that last week, trying to get there once again.
And a majority of that in the second half, and we're seeing some similar things here. With only 4 minutes left. I mean, still 4 minutes left here in the third, so plenty of time to put up more.
Dan Curtis with the touchdown for Los Angeles. The Lycans take a 31-24 lead over Lexington, so the Miners erase that 14-point deficit. Los Angeles gets down the field, scores again. 1:46 left in the fourth there. Before you're left with us on your Halloween evening, Rahman picks up a yard.
Yeah, it might be more competitive over there, but it's just more scary over here. And what do you want on Halloween, really? I think I'll take that fright. Not in real life. I don't do that.
Yeah, it's pretty scary over here. I'm pretty scared for our fourth quarter dialogue. That's what I'm scared for.
Really
King Jackson is sacked, a loss of 7 on the play, and there's your first sack. That's Kronk Worthy with the takedown.
Man, and Worthy, an amazing season that he's having here in Chicago, coming into the game, 92 tackles, but the real big number and the thing that made him the defensive play of the week last on the Matt Wilson show this week, 4 sacks in his last game, and he has another one here against Oklahoma City.
9.5 sacks for the safety as Jackson throws an interception. That is brought down by Melodious Manning, his second of the night. Cha-ching, cha-ching, first down.
And of course, when it rains, it pours on the rollout. But the difference here, the pressure right in his face. So he has to deliver a ball. It looked almost, Cam, like it might have been tipped, just how wobbly that duck quack quack was. But another interception in the books, and then Oklahoma City, man, just continues to hang their heads on the sidelines.
At the 23, Ty Patak will fire it over the middle. Paulie Truth says, you know what? I have too many yards. I'm going to go backwards and only pick up 3.
And it feels like Patak was on purpose ignoring Paulie Truth for most of this quarter so he could give it out to the rest of the receivers. Because I think at times they feel like that combo open, regardless of who's covering, it's always open.
And they're trying to make sure that whoever they play in the postseason, if they get there, is doesn't want to key in on Paulie Truth. You don't want to boost his stat line to the point where everybody goes, okay, we got to shut this guy down. You definitely don't want that in the playoffs.
Well, I'm not a defensive coordinator. I used to be one a long time ago, but I would think that having most of your secondary active would help.
Type attack. Oh my God! Got
Oh my
away
goodness.
from
Oh,
two
he did it again.
and got the first down to the 13-yard line.
I mean, look, I said this earlier in this season. I think this guy is the most electrifying player in the league. Like, if you want to showcase what one player can do in this league and maybe a representative for people that want to become a player, this is the guy to show them because it's so entertaining.
Attack, end zone, touchdown. That is Tarantino, and that is the fourth different Warrior to catch a touchdown pass from Type Attack, who's up to 6.
I mean, it's just everything that you want out of an offense, you know, outside of running the ball, Cam, I guess, is happened tonight. I mean, why would you run the ball? Honestly, when your passing game has been just so effective. And look, if you look across the field, you see who's playing there. You see a guy like Bowen out there. As a coach, you're probably going to say, you know what, our best bet is to throw the ball consistently and not, not let off the pedal at all. And they haven't so far in this game.
49-3. Do you believe now? Listen, back-to-back weeks against Oklahoma City. Chicago's the only team that gets to play Oklahoma City twice this season, who ended up as the best team in the league because LA just got a 4th down stop, and they are going to win that game and improve to 3-9. So Oklahoma City will be at the bottom of the standings at 2-10, especially with plays like that as they just caught the football up. I can't even get a thought out before there's another benefit to Chicago in this football game.
Yeah, and it almost seems like the phrase "when it rains it pours," it's not even adequate enough to describe what's happening here. I mean, it's just everything Oklahoma City does after that field goal. It's just a team that's defeated in every sense. But again, I hate to drudge on the home team as bad as I feel like I'm doing, but it's just the performance we're seeing on the field. It's just a team that's just not even on its last leg. Like, I didn't even have any toes left, it feels like.
Attack, dropping a throw. Pass is caught. Giff is somehow able to get away from a player that dove for him on the ground, picking up a 1st and goal around the 3-yard line.
And you almost expected it, Cam, because of what we've seen here in this game. We almost expected him to get away from Kanan as well. Able to break that first leg tackle, shoestring tackle attempt. Kanan gets out there, was able to push him out of bounds, but the way it's been playing, you wouldn't be surprised if the receiver went right through Kanan the way this game is going.
6 for 91 are the updated numbers for Giffis, trying to become the 4th different player with over 100 yards receiving. Truth 118, Tarantino 112, Fullerton 102, Giffis 92. Patak hit as he threw. He got crushed. 2nd and goal.
And that's been the most consistent thing Oklahoma City has done all game, is get pressure on the quarterback. It's just this quarterback is making some of the most amazing plays, and has been all season. But amazing individual plays, and the accuracy has been off the charts tonight.
Patak hit as he threw again, and it still was almost caught for a touchdown. 864 total yards in the Lexington-LA game, as that game has now gone final. Congrats to the Lycans for getting win number 3 after they almost had it in the previous game against the DC Dragons. They hold on to get the win this time.
We're in line.
Trips to the left on 3rd down and goal. Truth goes in motion. Now a 4-by-1 short side left. Type attack. Looking. Hit and almost picked. I'm surprised Dean Jackson didn't catch it. Someone's hurt. It's Type attack. He is down.
Now,
I don't know what to make of that.
This is interesting, Cam. This is interesting. One of the questions I had in my mind was, how does this offense look without that star quarterback? And the fact that he's been sacked more times than any quarterback in the league, you got to figure it's only a matter of time before he gets hurt, before he gets injured. Now, what does this offense look like, even against an OKC depleted defense? I think we may get that answer here. We'll see. It's going to be interesting, to at least a point of emphasis here, because of just how much Patak gets hit.
Well, and I think the biggest thing for Pataki, I don't care who you're playing in the SFL, you want to make your mark in the record books, and he was putting together a record-setting performance, potentially over 500 yards, maybe even 600 yards passing with the way he was distributing the football, and that might go out the window here tonight if he's not able to return. Oklahoma City probably smart to take the knee and start at the 20-yard line. 1:07 to go in the third as Chicago up by 49. Certainly has a hefty lead to protect, but now without their star magician. Toss play out to Rahman. Rahman will push ahead for 4 yards. And Mullinex, when you're a team that struggles to run the football like Oklahoma City does, sometimes falling forward is just the best thing you can do, because you want to try to keep the defense honest.
Yeah, and when you've got big, tall running backs, you would think they could fall from the line of scrimmage and get 2-3 yards just based on their height. Yeah, I mean, just falling forward, that might have been one of the best runs they've shown us all game.
44 rushing yards is the average for Oklahoma City. They have 57 tonight as Jackson drops to throw. That pass is incomplete. Oklahoma City actually average the lowest rushing yards per game. You would think that'd be Chicago, but with Pataki involved, they usually have 77 yards. Oklahoma City, if you're looking for a silver lining, they've done a pretty good job containing him most of the night.
Yeah, an excellent job. Although again, he hasn't had much. Had to scramble as much necessarily as maybe he's done in the past, but they've got that consistent pressure, Cam, and they've been able to do that all night and contain, which has been a really good job by them.
Ooh, King Jackson gets dethroned there from Chicago by DJ Kilgannon. That'll drop Oklahoma City for a loss.
And congratulations to Kilgannon, named play-by-play broadcaster of the season. Congratulations to him. Can't do the broadcasting right now, buddy. You're on the field and getting that sack.
I think he stole it from me, but
I know the feeling.
I don't really get a say.
But wait a minute, you do get a say. One of a three-man committee.
Listen, I'm just practicing my martyrdom by saying I don't get a say when I'm on a 3-4. Yes, congrats to DJ. In the third quarter, 52-3, Chicago on top of Oklahoma City as we play out the final stretch of a rare, ultra rare SFL Halloween, especially in the regular season, a first for us here in the Simulation Football League. Ellie Diomas, J.W. Hartshorn in the stats truck, Stephen Mullinex, and yours truly, Cameron Irvine, here with you, taking one for the team as Chicago is 10 minutes away from potentially securing a playoff spot. They have to win.
And now we've got the backup quarterback. Look, Cam, we've seen some guys come off the bench, play really well in this game. Let's see if the quarterback can do the same.
The lefty fires it over to Tarantino. That pass is complete. Is that Heward out there making that throw?
Heward? Think so. But hey, again, Brock Heward, I think, is who we'll see.
Heward,
who knows? The backup.
Heward is going to take off and run. He's not as fast as Pataki, but still gets the first down. We didn't see that out of Pataki at all tonight.
No. And that was a design draw. That was a design quarterback draw. And they're pulling that out now. I mean, it is in a game that's pretty much assured here, but this is something amazing that we've never seen before. But Cam, this is the thing is about this. It might not necessarily been about as much about the quarterback tonight. When you pull in the backup and they perform just as well, you're talking about a great game plan.
Heward to throw. Heward wide open. Wow. That is Tarantino again. First down into the red zone. Bobby Tarantino having himself a night.
And he's not the only one there on that play. We saw there was a guy that was even further down the field, wide open. Multiple receivers now we can see further down that were wide open. Had defenders not even maybe 10 yards away from that one on the far end of the screen there. So we've got receivers running absolutely untethered, and even the backup is hitting them now.
Bobby Tarantino has been on a tear the last 3 games. He loves playing Oklahoma City as Truth gets down to the 6-yard line. He didn't have a 100-yard game since back in June 21, 2024, when he was on a completely different team. The last 3 games, Tarantino's at 125, 149, and now 146 here tonight. 2nd down and 1. As Heward is going to be sacked, and there's Harrison Kilgore again, the MVP of this Oklahoma City Renegade squad tonight.
He's been able to get not only consistent pressure, but break that first block and get around his offensive lineman, and really able to skirt around a lot of times and bring that little extra pressure that's been needed.
Heward in zone. A bouncing ball is incomplete. It's 4th down as Chicago hits exactly 500 yards of offense here tonight as Chicago is about to kick a field goal and put some more points up on the board. We've got a great slate of games for you tomorrow night, SFL Nation, as we start with Denver and Washington. Denver has already clinched the Central. It's the only division that's been clinched. Washington needs a win and a Vancouver loss on Monday, and they will clinch the West. So a lot on the line for Washington. For Denver, they're trying to secure a top 4 seed, which they would be able to do by winning tomorrow. So before we even get to the South, Mullinex, the Denver-Washington game in the early block of Saturday, along with Arizona, who's trying to clinch a playoff spot. They play the Queen City Corsairs, which will be the final game as the Corsairs moniker, which dates all the way back to the very beginning of the SFL. Yes, they were the New York Knights, but they will continue on. The franchise will continue on, but Queen City has been a part of the fabric of the SFL for a very long time, and starting next year, no teams in the state of New York in the SFL for the first time ever.
That's crazy, and it's just, there's going to be a lot of change. We were talking about Baltimore also hanging things up, and not to have a Baltimore team, not to have the iconic Queen City just in name. They're such a legendary, both of them, championship level teams that have been in this league so long, and it's glad to hear that they're just changing shape there in Queen City. We're just going to get a different name basically and location, but a lot of those, hope to see a lot of those people that are quality, just individuals, stick around in this league. That's the thing that I hate the most about us losing some of these franchises, is there are some really quality people that are attached to it that have been there for sometimes their entire SFL career, and I just hope those people stick around, because it's like saying goodbye to old friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most of them, as Jackson has hit as he throws, most of them always find new homes or stick with the new ownership of the franchise, and it'll make free agency very compelling, no doubt about that. Tomorrow night, you got the battle in the South under the lights. Houston just needs to win over Bossier City. If they lose and Mexico City wins, the 2-time defending champion Aztecs will come from all the way back and win the South. Man, if you're the Houston Headhunters, Mullinex, just win your game. Put the 2-time defending champs in a more advantageous position to go out and win another title.
Yeah, I feel you on that, but also, I don't think anyone ever goes out with the intention of losing a game. So I think sometimes in our heads as coaches, we're like, we're doing everything we can. Do you think we actually wanted to lose? No, they're going to absolutely try. I don't think they would ever not be trying to give their best and win a ball game. It's just, man, at the end of the season like this, with these teams so progressed as they are, Cam, it throws things into a mixer more than ever. And you just never know kind of how it's going to shape out and how things are going to work on the field. No amount of practice and preparation can get you prepared for some of the wild things that happen on the field.
Sunday night, 2 divisions will be decided, Carolina and Florida in the East. Carolina has the strength of victory tiebreaker over Florida. That is, they have the same conference record. They would split the head-to-head series as Tarantino goes over $150. They have the same record in common games, so it goes all the way to strength of victory, in which Carolina wins hands down. So if Carolina wins, they are in as the 12 seeded with a 5-7 record. If they lose, then Florida is in at 6-6 and could potentially boost their stock, as Heward is going to be sacked for a loss of one, or maybe it goes down just as a simple TFL. But that is the early game on Sunday. And then the late window is Pittsburgh and Baltimore. If Pittsburgh loses, then the DC Dragons win the North. If Pittsburgh wins, then Pittsburgh wins the North. Pittsburgh has a chance to shut Baltimore out of the playoffs for the very first time, or could the Baltimore Vultures make one last run at it? Sabo Kanan with the takedown of Heward, and Chicago for the first time tonight, the second time, will punt.
Well, Cam, that's so much to talk about in that Sunday slate of games, and I think it's amazing what Carolina has done to put themselves in this position. And they just look like a team at the beginning of the season that was lost. You know, a brand new quarterback under center in Bryant Dynasty, and kind of really struggling to figure out how to get him integrated into their offense and how they can get those things to work together. And they figured it out mid-season and have started stringing some wins together, and to put themselves in a place where they are now win and get in. It was something that was unimaginable when the season started.
Jackson going to drop the throw. That's incomplete. Okay, so we now have time for the $45 flag story. So Kevin say we get to the point where the DC Dragons are the flag is up for auction. It costs us $45 to purchase, so we always start the bidding at cost. And the lovely Mrs. Say, I didn't even get to finish my sentence, Mullinex. I said, all right, the DC Dragons flag, let's start the bidding it. And she stood up and she goes, 45! I got 45! And it was just so funny that we just stopped the bidding and I just gave it to her for 45. I mean, I just said, it's over, it's yours. That's the most enthusiastic bid at an SFL auction ever. And you deserve all the credit in the world. The Says are great people, and it's so awesome to still have them, not just in the league, but still on the team that drafted them.
Yeah, well, we're trying to convince Keviana Say to maybe join the SFL at some point here and get some of that enthusiasm and bring it in along with her husband. But, yeah, I mean, what great representation. And the first time that I've ever actually seen Kev Say, I know Destro met him over there, but to meet him in person or to see him at least in person there at the convention, just an awesome guy, and has been for a long time for us. Like I mentioned, since season 16, when we drafted him in the first round, he's been with us. And now here we are at season 25, and he's still rocking and rolling.
J.J. Bailey having a great night. 11 tackles, a sack, 2 TFLs, a pass deflection. Just needs a pick to his name. 4:53 to go in the fourth quarter, 55-3. The backup has come in and played valiantly for Chicago. 4 of 5 for 46 yards passing. Nothing like what type attack was doing, and Chicago might have not gotten some franchise records because of that injury, but they also don't need Patak out there to get records. They need him to rest up, because it does appear, Mullinex, that Chicago will be making the playoffs, will be clinching. I'm somewhat certain of that at this point with 4:35 to go in the fourth.
All right, well, congratulations there to Chicago. Well earned and a lot to prove. I think there's a lot to prove there in the playoffs. As we mentioned, their away record before. Their upcoming games are likely not going to be like we've seen in this one. If it is, terrific job by this team and the coaching staff. But I think the level of competition we're just going to see, as you would expect in the postseason, is going to raise up as here. A great run right down the middle.
I had to rub my, just for a SpongeBob reference real quick, when Mr. Krabs takes his eyes out and cleans them because he can't believe what he's seeing, that's what happened just there. James Stewart with a big run.
Well, a question by Guy Clausen here in the chat. OKC's going to need a lot of makeover in the offseason. I guess that's not a question. That's a statement.
Definitely not a question.
What kind of So maybe to try to figure that out a bit. Obviously, I think they've been playing with a depleted roster for the last couple of seasons. It's the opportunity now that some of these teams, the teams that are leaving and moving and changing, there may be a little bit more of a flood of free agents that are out there, and I'm sure OKC has already been on the phone with many of them, trying to convince them to be part of this rebuild and try to, rejuvenate this team that has had success in the past. So I think that's one of the main things is one, that you have a great core of people that are loyal. Look, the people that are still paying their subscriptions, the ones that are in the game chat right now, the games that the team, the players that are still with this team, despite just now what's going to be a 2-10 record, those are your ride and die players. You can build teams around those kind of players. You just got to sell the vision to some free agents. And look, the recent announcement of the draft returning, that's going to help too.
And one of the best examples, just as a player in the league in general, as Truth dropped that touchdown. I don't know what the line was in Vegas, Mullinex, but I think Truth, that was some shaving. Now, I've never seen Truth drop a pass like that.
Now, I don't like to tell tales out of school, but I did see him play poker with Chauncey Billups the other day. I don't think it's related. I don't want to make any kind of sort of connections.
Hey, if you're playing poker with Chauncey, you're probably on the losing end of a lot of those games as Tarantino gets up to the 2-yard line for a first down and goal. But anyway, as I was saying, Derek Majors, in his 11th season in the league, has never made the All-Star game, despite the fact that we talked about earlier tonight, top 25 all-time in kick return touchdowns. He's had a great game tonight. He is in his 11 seasons in the league. He says in the chat it will be his first time ever playing in the playoffs, playing for his hometown team. Gotta bring that trophy home. You just love stories like that, Monex. That's what makes the SFL so great. That is an unbelievable storyline, and can't wait to see Mr. Majors in the playoffs.
How many of those stories are in the league that are still hadn't been told? You know what I mean? There's got to be more of his kind of his kind of loyalty, which we should be commended. I mean, he has been loyal. He's stuck through some really tough seasons, and you got to love it for a guy to see him get into the playoffs and would mean so much to him and to the story if he can really make some noise in the postseason on top of it.
52 points would be the largest margin of victory for the Warriors in franchise history. 51 was their record that they had last week. 62 points is the most points that ever scored on the road. They're trying to get that with a touchdown here, but Oklahoma City is standing tall as they will burn their first time out. It'll set up a 3rd down and goal Monday night. Myself, Charles Doherty, are here. Vancouver and Sin City. The Samurai will try to clinch a playoff spot. And what I think is going to happen, Mullinex, when it's all said and done, is that either Sin City's going to win and knock someone else out, or Sin City's going to lose, and that's going to open the door for someone else as Heward takes it into the end zone for a touchdown. 61-3, Chicago piles on. But either way, that Monday night game is going to be do or die for somebody.
You mentioned it during our broadcast meeting this week, just how competitive this league is this season, and how many people are just one simple game, and I will even say this, one result away from it really impacting whether they're in or not, or it's drastically impacting their placement in the playoffs. I think we might say this every season, Cam, but it feels like this one, it's just the parity in the league is so good right now, maybe the best it's ever been, and we've just got so many teams that are within 1 or 2 games of each other that it makes this last week actually have a lot of meaning for most of the teams that are in the playoffs.
On the return for Oklahoma City up to the 29-yard line. I appreciate JW and Ellie getting into the Halloween spirit. You did too, as well, Mullinex, with the classic Mike Ditka here tonight. And it was great that you brought that back. I'm not sure what I would go as I'm a holiday curmudgeon, but maybe people in the chat might have a good idea of good costume for me.
I thought at first that you were dressed up as the Grinch, but then I quickly realized that you just wear that all the time. So.
I only have one shirt, so I end up just kind of...
It's very green and a lot of dirt on it.
Be a great Lorax, apparently. I don't know about all that. I'd be the tallest Lorax ever.
I thought I had a great joke that I wanted to mention about Polytruth, and that kind of be a name that would be associated with some kind of a mob organization, like Polytruth. That's a perfect mob name, right? But that moment passed, so I won't mention it.
You just did.
I wanted to get it out.
King Jackson's pass is incomplete. 3rd down and 10 with 1:39 to go in the first half.
What a season, Cam.
What a season.
I mean, this game's not indicative necessarily of what we've seen across the league this season, but man, anybody who thinks that we've lost a step or that we, any kind of negative things that they've got to say about whatever, everybody's got something to say. Anybody who has success has their haters. But, I mean, I think the overall satisfaction by a lot of people in this league is very high, and that in part, and well, the largest part is you and your leadership and your decisions, but also the competitiveness that has grown across this league. Everybody feels that they've got a chance. Everybody feels, even in this game, coming off what was a similarly blowout in the previous game. In that first quarter, man, we had hope that Oklahoma City had figured something out, and that for I think for a lot of teams, that even like OKC, who are coming in with just 2 wins, they feel like they can beat a Chicago team. I mean, there's a chance. Like, everybody feels like there has a chance until you don't. So, and I think that's across the league. I mean, I reference my games, like, and we might be 9-3, but man, we had a heck of a game against some of the teams that are on the lower end of the standings, because those are very talented teams. For the most part, just kind of got unlucky and figured things out maybe later in the season with progression and things like that. But man, we played. But I think Bossier City is way more talented than their record. I think LA is proving they are way more talented than the record. And I think a lot of teams that are on the lower end of the standings, they feel that way. And that's just a credit to this league. And I think one of the reasons why there's so much fun to be had.
Well, when you look at we finished 3-9. They lost by 3 points to DC, 4 points to Detroit, 11 points to Washington. I mean, these are all playoff teams. They were in that game. 2 points to Sin City, potential another playoff team where they lost, and they lost by 3 to Charleston. I mean, that's like half their games were 1-score losses, and you could be looking at Los Angeles as 8-4, right? If those games go their way. So, even a team that's at the very bottom, they're right there, and for Oklahoma City, that's what you got to sell. We just need enough players to believe in our squad, because you're not going to win a lot of games in the SFL when you got a roster like Oklahoma City has, and that's not a knock on any of the players that Oklahoma City does have. It's all the players they don't have, right, Mullinex, and you've got to. They just need more bodies, and all of a sudden, you look up and you say, wow, Oklahoma City's competing every week, just like some of these other teams that have struggled historically with wins and losses, but still have the roster to back it up.
And I thought they were going to make a lot. I thought they were going to make a lot of noise this season. I mean, with their first win against Minnesota, they shocked everybody, and they thought, oh, here we go. I mean, look, OKC's, they might have just won 1 game the previous season, but they come out and they get that first win. And you're like, okay, well, they've caught up. They've figured some things out. Look, it's taken some of these teams that are in the playoffs, even my own, it's taken some time for us to adjust and learn and figure some things out. I think Denver is a good example of that. Denver, I covered their game a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week, actually, and they looked unbelievable. They looked so good. They are a legit championship team. And it took them a couple seasons to get things figured out. Their new coaching staff, new mentality, new people, introducing them, getting them involved. It does take time, and I think that's, again, Oklahoma City. This is only their second season, and they came out and they looked so good initially, and they were in those early battles, and their offense looked legit. And it's just as the season progressed, I think that roster did start to come into play more and more every game as other teams kind of progressed past them. But look, as you said, they had some more bodies in here, and Matt, again, I think those wins are going to start piling up for them.
I think I'd like to go a Halloween costume. I think Roseanne Barr. That'd be great.
Yeah, you have the facial features for it. I've always thought that.
I'd be a great Roseanne Barr. Listen,
You
Chicago
would be.
Chicago's going to clinch a playoff spot. The biggest question with Chicago is, how are they going to do against the best competition in the league? They lost to Sin City. They lost to Denver. They lost to Vancouver. They lost to D.C. These are the teams they're going to have to beat if they want to get that first playoff win in franchise history. But they're going to get an opportunity. For the first time in over a year, the Chicago Warriors are back in the playoffs as they beat the Oklahoma City Renegades 62-3 tonight in the late night block of Friday SFL football. Mullinex, your player of the game tonight.
Wow, I mean, there's too many to call. Obviously, a ton of them on Chicago's side of the ball, and I let me tell you what, it might be the performance might point towards a guy like Type Attack with 6 touchdown passes. I kind of like the major storyline myself, heading into that postseason. Yeah, give me Manning. Give me Manning. Those 2 interceptions. I mean, let's highlight the offense gets a lot of shine. Manning did an unbelievable job of picking off the ball, and amazing one-handed catch. That should be on the highlight reel of some of the season's best so far. This is the last weekend of the year. You can go and put that together, Cam. That top 10 highlight reel together for us.
Yeah, and you know what? I like Tarantino. He had a really nice night tonight. And he's been coming on strong for the Chicago Warriors team and really making them difficult to stop. One more note before we leave the broadcast tonight. For the first time since August 19th, 2023, Type Attack had 0 or negative rushing yards. For the first time in over 2 years, Oklahoma City held him to nothing. That's why he doesn't get my MVP. Only 511 passing it. Well, he didn't have all 511. He had, he had 438, but 0 rushing yards. Disappointing night for Type Attack. 62-3, Chicago tops Oklahoma City for Ellie Diomas and J.W. Hartshorn and our stats truck. Stephen Mullinex. I've been Cameron Irvine. We'll see you tomorrow for an epic day of SFL action with the scenario show to follow. Good night.
Good night.